Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out here yet again doing what I do, walking along in beautiful locations, and today is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm giving you my thoughts and opinions on things that are happening in the world and the public consciousness. If it's your first time here, welcome. This is what I do. I hope you enjoy it. If you're a returning subscriber, or 1,320, I think there are of you today, welcome back. It's a privilege for me to have so many join me. Have so many people join me for these walks. So thank you, one and all. So today, I mean, if you can see in the background, blue sky, sunshine. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that's your weather report from Suffolk here in the UK. A little bit windy today. It's still a bit windy. Yeah, that's the storms over the past few days have been, quite bad. Not by comparison to what's happening in other parts of the world, but we've managed to escape the winter weather so far this year. It's a bit cold, but the sun's out, a little bit wind. It's gorgeous. So I'm out in the forest today to see if I can use the trees to cut down some of the wind so you can hear me a bit clearer. So today, today's title is called "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." I'm sure you've heard that before. Now, people who are questioning the reality that we live in, who are looking at things on Twitter, like the Twitter files that are coming out, the Telegram, those kind of WhatsApp groups. Obviously, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube are banning content that they don't allow. Obviously, those scales that they judge things by are moving all the time. So while today you might be compliant within the rules of what you're allowed to talk about, next week who knows? And I spoke about 6 months ago, I think, maybe a little bit less. I had a video from 2 years ago removed. 2 years. They had to go back 2 years to give me a strike on my channel. On a video that I did 2 years ago, they changed the rules, and then that video wasn't allowed anymore. And then they gave me a strike on that from a previous post. Now, with people who are looking at all these different sites and looking at all this information, we know. We don't have any doubt about what's going on, because really, how can there be? All the narratives are starting to fail, from be it elections, there's no malfeasance in the elections, which is obviously incorrect, to medical misinformation. We were told the past 3 years, and safe and effective, 100%, remember, to climate change, climate change causing a bunch of heart attacks now. Amazing. And I saw there was a Vice article, I think it was, that a friend of mine shared on a group that I'm on, not Telegram, it's a WhatsApp group, that said the hotter temperatures, this was climate change obviously, hotter temperatures are causing people to have heart attacks. Now, my response was, bullshit. I've worked in kitchens, for those of you who don't know, I'm a chef. By trade, that's not who I am, that's what I do for a job. 35 years I've been doing it, and I worked in the desert in Australia, in a commercial kitchen in Australia with no air conditioning. In the kitchen was 55 plus degrees Celsius, that is. It was hot. I'm still here, I haven't had a heart attack, and I don't know anybody else on that site that had a heart attack due to the hot weather ever. So now the point of what I want to get to today is I'm going to be pointing out a couple of the hot spots of the things that are happening, and my love and my heart and my good wishes and everything, good energy and everything I can send to you, positive, to those places in the world that are standing up against their governments. If we can all send out the positive energy to those people that are battling against these corrupt regimes in the countries where they're fighting them, because eventually it will come to you. I don't care where you live. The turmoil and the mistrust in governments and the breakdown of the financial system will lead to a point where everyone will feel the effects of it. You know, for those of you who already aren't, I'm surprised. But, you know, here in the UK, my wife showed me a bill for our energy supplier. Now, we are very frugal with our energy use. We don't have the central heating on in our home. We if we use a lounge room, we're all sitting there. We have blankets or duvets or doonas or wherever you are from in the world, whatever you call the blanket that you have on your bed. We use those. Maybe we have a heater on in the lounge room. We don't heat the whole house. We don't find it necessary, and we're very frugal with our energy use. So, the kids go to school, I go to work, my wife works. It's not like we have electricity running in the house constantly. We don't have computers always turned on or anything like that. It's, very frugal with our energy use. So in November, I think it was, our energy bill for that month was £117. That's gas and electricity, which is high. It's higher than what it always was, but it's manageable. Our energy costs for this month are now for December, I think it was 300 and something. So £386. So nearly quadruple the cost. Now I'm on a decent wage. My wife works as well, of course. So, we can pay it. I don't want to pay it. I think it's ridiculous. And I think the energy companies are trying to skin everybody alive. Oh, it's because of Ukraine. No, it's not. It's bullshit. This is all about power games. But how do people that are in a poorer financial position supposed to live? And especially when you're talking about developing nations, a lot of South America and Central American countries are, equally in the toilet. How are those people supposed to live? Now, as I've said for the entire time I've been doing these videos, the problem with everything that's happened, all the lockdowns and all the nonsense, is that no one's taken into account the financial fallout of what that means. If you're going to close down businesses for nearly 2 years, that means all those jobs that those people had in those businesses are no longer available, especially in the restaurant industry. And then because they closed down businesses and people were just pushed out of the workplace, or that, a lot of businesses just went, oh, well, sorry, we're closing, you're all fired. Those people don't want to go back into the industry anymore because, well, they got treated so badly in it the first time, so why would they? Now, all this is sort of giving a background into the reason that I'm talking about what I'm talking about today, which is the revolution will not be televised. Now, for those of us that are looking for information, it's not hard to find. I mean, you could trip over it just walking through the forest. But it's there, it's everywhere. Telegram and Twitter and what's happening with the Twitter files coming out, all the information about Fauci and the organisation that he runs. His wife is the person who's supposed to oversee him. I mean, honestly, it's just regulatory capture, it's called. Now, what we see is Peru is the latest one where the people are pushing back on the government because they're struggling, obviously. The people over in the Netherlands who are dealing with their corrupt government. In Brasilia, all the my people over there, all the people that are pushing back against the government. Good, keep going, don't stop, don't back down. That they stormed the government Congress, and then they stormed the Supreme Court because it's all corrupt. Now, I'm speaking to people all over the world. I spoke to a good friend of mine over in Brussels, Belgium. She's in Belgium at the moment. People are struggling over there as well. The costs are going up and the rules are changing all the time. To do with, they just put solar panels on their house because they were told, oh yeah, it was government rebates. But then obviously they changed the rules after they put the solar panels on their house and they get nothing now. So these corrupt scum that are running the world, making sure that everyone else is suffering while they profit from it. Now, this is happening everywhere. Here in the UK, we've got the Tories, the Conservatives, they call themselves. The Tories are controlling the government here. We have a Prime Minister called Rishi Sunak. No one voted for him after the last clown, which was Liz Truss. No one voted for her. So while other countries are having problems with their voting, at least you got one. We don't get to vote here. But here in the UK, there's been no vote. They're talking about having an election. Well, now this is the other thing as well. Now, obviously, I didn't go to school for that many years. I left school when I was quite young, and because of that, obviously, we all know that you can't learn anything unless you're out of school. So I've just recently learned that I've been spelling a word wrong this entire time, and I do apologise to all those people that have had to bear with me with this, with terrible spelling. But I've just recently found out that election, the word election, I've been spelling it wrong the whole time, and it's got a silent S at the beginning of the word, and I had no idea. So I do apologise when I've been talking about elections, and there's a silent S at the beginning of the word election, which is, had I stayed in school, I probably would have known that, but obviously I didn't, so I didn't. But the point I'm getting at here in the UK is you have a Keir Starmer, I think his name is, who's the leader of the Labour Party, which is the other party, because it's two-party politics, because, you want to have two-party politics. That way, they're constantly fighting with each other and nothing gets done. And they're just divvying up the money between them. Sounds fair. So Keir Starmer, the head of the Labour Party here in the UK, he's saying it's time for a change. Get rid of the Conservatives. Oh, by the way, I'm booked in as a speaker over at the World Economic Forum in January. The World Economic Forum has bragged openly, and its head, Klaus Schwab, you eat the bugs. He has openly bragged that we own the cabinets. We own the people in the cabinets. In the UK, Liz Truss was, of course, a member of the World Economic Forum Young Global Leaders, as is Keir Starmer, as is most politicians around the world. Justin Castro over there in Canada, that Slavelandia over there, Canada. The clown over in Australia. They're all of them are involved with the World Economic Forum. And when we select. Yeah, sorry, I don't think you can pronounce the S. I think it's just a silent S. But when we elect leaders for our countries, they doing our bidding, or are they doing the bidding of the World Economic Forum? Now, with this, everything that's going on in France, in Paris at the moment, the yellow vests are still on the streets, pushing back against the government because of their pensions. Now, I talk to people a lot about pensions, and I work as well here in the UK. Everyone, sign up for a pension when you sign up for work, because pensions are good. Pensions are good. And all the pension fund money goes to where? Into the stock market. How's the stock market looking? Better than the crypto market, Chris. Ha ha ha. Okay. The stock market is based on fallacies. It's not real. None of the stock market is real. I mean, what's happening, for those of you who aren't involved in it, you have companies posting record profits in times when the world is shut down. Of course, Amazon was, because they were allowed to stay open, but all the shops weren't. All the big name stores were allowed to stay open. The supermarkets were allowed to stay open. The little corner stores, no, sorry, closed down. You're a bad person. You don't have any perspex to stop the virus. I had no idea that perspex stopped the virus. It's amazing. That bit of perspex there, because the air doesn't go over, it doesn't go under. The air doesn't circulate. As soon as it hits that plastic barrier, COVID just dies. And obviously anything above sort of about 4 feet, it doesn't work either. Now, as we move through this period, you've got revolutions all over the world, people are standing up against the governments. It will happen everywhere. But of course, anybody outside of that country or anybody outside of that protest probably won't see it, because the other side of this nightmare that we're living through is not only corrupt politicians and the people who are associated with politics and all that whole World Economic Forum nonsense, the corporate leaders. World Economic Forum, for those of you who don't know, is a gathering of the world's elite, they call themselves. So you have politicians, corporate heads, multimillionaires and billionaires. So basically what happens is they all get there and decide how they want the world to work. So the corporations are telling the governments of the world how to implement policy to make the world better, obviously to make the world better for them. So we're in a corporatocracy. So this is the problem with our world right now, is people think that we're living in a what do you call it? People think that a socialist or a communist utopia would work because then everyone's equal. Except in, go and have a look at any communist or socialist country, and the people at the top are swimming in it and all the other people are just, surviving. But we don't live in a capitalist society. It is a corporate society. So it's not about capitalism, because capitalism would mean the best, cheapest service would win, for the best product would win. But no, we have a corporatocracy where you have corporate players that are international who don't abide by any regulations anywhere. There was a thing I heard this morning saying that Nike doesn't pay any taxes because they have two corporations, one that's set up in Europe, let's say, that sells the shoes and the clothes and everything like that, another one that's set up in Belize that controls the corporate ownership of the brand of Nike. So whenever profits are posted here in the UK or Europe, they then have to pay the company in Belize that owns the rights to the name of Nike. So obviously, whoop, there goes all the profits, and there's only 1% tax payable in Belize. So corporates don't pay tax because they know how to get around the law. You and I, on the other hand, oh, well, we're just going to have to put taxes up to pay for all the money we've printed to rescue all you bad people who were out of jobs because we closed the country down. You with me? Now, if for anyone that's got their eyes open and is seeing what's going on, so we've got France is in turmoil, Brazil is in turmoil, Peru is in turmoil, Iran, because the women don't want to wear hijabs. At the same time, here in the UK, women are saying, oh, we need to be covering our faces. Like if you choose to, great. I mean, no one should be forced to do that, just like no one should be forced to stick anything in their body that they don't want to either. It's personal, isn't it? Surely the decisions that you make for your life should be personal. It's to you, not somebody else's decision to make. But as we look around the world and we see these things happening, what do you see in the media? What are you seeing in your local media? Here in the UK, as soon as you turn on the radio or the TV, the news was the first thing. Someone got killed, someone got stabbed, someone got shot. It's constant barrage of, oh, somebody died of the flu. It's always negative, always. And you're not hearing about the struggles of, or if you do hear about the struggles that are happening in Brazil, for instance, people who are gathering and entering the Congress. Oh, well, that's Trump's fault. Trump did that. It's preposterous. But why is it that we're not seeing it? Why is it that we're not seeing people standing up against their governments around the world on the media, on the news that's there to inform the people? Because the media is complicit in this propaganda as well. Now, the media obviously gets invited over to Davos, to World Economic Forum as well, and they all have their meetings to say, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to report it to the average person. Now, rather than the media doing their job is to inform people, they're doing their job to misinform people and to tell lies. It's propaganda. So they will never, ever, ever show you the revolution. In fact, they're even still willing to say, oh yes, well, the things that get stuck in you are 100% safe and effective. They're still saying it, even while world-leading cardiologists are coming out and saying we need to stop this thing right now. It's proven that people are, are falling off this earth because of that thing. But no, media's still running with it. Oh, well, you've got two arms. God gave you two arms so you can get your COVID-19 and flu in the other. This is what the media is doing. So when I say the revolution will not be televised, I mean that in a very literal sense. They're not going to show you people across the world that are standing up, because then you go, that emboldens you. Just like they didn't want anybody to start talking about, oh, maybe these things that people are getting stuck in them are bad. Because if you do that and you have a negative story about the thing, then that could dissuade others from going down that route. So we have to ban you. I'm serving another ban on Facebook, another ban on Twitter. I've just got passed, ban on Instagram. You know, I've been banned on everything because I dare to challenge the narrative. And rather than walking back there, okay, well, we made a mistake. We might have made a mistake. No, they're doubling down. So you have the politicians and the media are doubling down on the information, saying no, we said it and we mean it. Neil deGrasse Tyson, oh no, 100% safe and effective. What a prick. So we are caught in a situation, and everyone I talk to who's in this truth sharing circles, you know, in the truth sharing circles that I operate in, everyone's getting frustrated by this because, you know, we talk to our loved ones, we talk to our friends and family that are around us, and they're like, no man, everything's fine. I see it on the news, you know, everything's good. And I'm like, well, look at the financial situation of the world. Look at look at what these corporates are doing to pump up their share price. They're buying back shares. You know, that pumps up the share price. They're buying them back. Bill Gates has got a $2.5 billion short on Tesla. But I thought we were supposed to be transitioning to electric. Why would you short an electric car company to the tune of $2.5 billion? Why would you do that, Bill? So if you're here and you're watching this, I mean, you probably know what I'm talking about. You've probably seen it for yourself that the corporate machine that is the media is backing up the other corporate machine that is the government, and they're reinforcing each other, because what the government does is they point to the media and they say, look, the media said this on this date that COVID is exploding in China. Look what's happening. We've got the news reports that that's happening over there, right? So they're referring to a news report in a certain place to back up what they're saying. Or that's why we have to do what we have to do here. You know, let's go back to the beginning of this whole thing, March in 2020, when Trump turned around and said, oh, we have to close the borders to travellers because of what's happening. No, that you're a racist and a xenophobe. Then, 2 years later, Biden says, oh, well, we have to close the borders to people from China. And people are like, what a great decision, President Biden. You are such a leader. I wish all the leaders of the world were like you. So it's people they bank on you being stupid or not saying anything or not remembering 2 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever it is now. They bank on you not remembering anything, and they think that the internet hasn't got a history. There's no record of what they said and did. Now, the only way that I can see that we can break through this noise of propaganda and gaslighting and everything that the media and the governments are doing of the world is to keep on sharing information. I don't stop. If I get banned, I just go to a different platform, just share it there. It's that's all we can do. And keep on sharing the information, keep on putting stuff out there in people's faces, and eventually what happens is people are going to be touched by this. Whether it's economic fallout, they lose their house, they might do, because at any time if the bank gets into the toilet, they can then say to you, well, I need the money back now on your mortgage. And if you can't pay it, well, we're going to come and take your house, even though they never had the money to lend you in the first place. They can come and take your house. Now, just keep on sharing information. Stand in the face of all this nonsense. If you're hoping that you're going to one day see on the TV, like, oh yes, we were wrong. Everything that you thought that we told you was a conspiracy theory was actually right. It will never happen. It will never ever happen. So if you're looking for that in the media, you're going to be waiting forever, because it's not going to happen. They're not going to back down. They're not going to give in. They're not going to give you anything. They're not going to say to you, oh, well, yeah, we know Joe Biden is corrupt, but, he is the president. That's just the way it is. So, boop, too bad. Now, the other thing that I have to say is, if you're relying on a politician who created the problem in the first place to fix the problem by giving them more money, then you are never going to see a resolution, and all you're going to do is just keep on paying more money out, and you'll never ever have any problems fixed. The only way, and I mean the only way that this gets fixed, is by everybody standing against it and saying no more. That's it. There's no way that this changes without everybody standing against it. I'm sorry if that bursts your bubble, or if you think that, oh yeah, but now things are changing, everything's coming out. What does that everything coming out do? Nothing. It doesn't change anything. We all know the truth is already out there to prove everything that they've been saying is a lie. The truth is already out. It's already been proven that they're lying. But what's changed? Oh, but these politicians are leaving their posts. Oh yeah, but other politicians are taking their place. So what's changed? What's changed? Well, in the US, they're having a vote on the floor of the House of Representatives to get rid of the IRS and the Fed. But then it has to go through the Senate, and then the president has to sign off on it. So what's the chance of that happening? 0. 0. No chance whatsoever. So this is my point. If you're relying on politicians to fix the issue, it will never be fixed. If you're relying on the media to tell you the truth, you'll be waiting forever, because that will never happen either. They're lying propagandists who are going to tell you exactly what they've been told to say by their corporate masters, because they're puppets on a string. That's all they are. And they're going to treat you like you're an idiot until you pop off the face of the earth by having one of these, or rounding you up as a domestic extremist for daring to say anything against the government. So the only advice I can give you at this stage is to, what we're going through now is, I've quoted it before, I've got t-shirts that say it is the Great Awakening. Now, the Great Awakening is the populace waking up to the fact that the politicians have lied to us, the media have lied to us, and standing against it en masse. It won't happen individually. Me coming out here and doing for a walk in the forest, explaining my viewpoint, walking along and talking about the revolution will not be televised, that's not going to change anything. All it's going to do is it's like advertising. What do you think advertising does? Do you think advertising sells products? Advertising isn't there to sell products. It's there to make you aware of the product. It doesn't sell it. What I'm doing, what many others are doing, bigger channels than mine obviously, what they're doing is they're advertising the information and saying, hey, look at this. Decide what you think about it, but this is the whole point. As people become aware of the information, they're like, well, people get angry to start with, obviously. But as they become aware of the information, then they start talking about it with their friends, and their friends are like, oh, that's preposterous. Of course the earth is round. Of course it is, right? I mean, I have no idea. I've never been to space. I'm relying on the word of somebody who has, right? 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 So all we can do is be the fly in the ointment to this movement that's trying to get, the social engineers are trying to get us to go a particular way as a society. You will own nothing and be happy. The corporates will own everything and you'll rent them from them, Go and, who was the last person to buy a CD or a DVD or something like that, yeah? You own it, right? You own it. You go onto Amazon, you click buy of that movie. Can I give that movie to my friend to watch on his TV? No, why not? Well, I don't actually own it, do I? I'm renting it. That's what they want for us all. You won't own anything. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. So, today's talk, the revolution will not be televised, not through the mainstream media, and certainly not through the politicians. This is what I'm doing, what other people are doing. What we're doing as a collective is sharing information to help other people to awaken to the lies and the propaganda that we've been told for our entire lives. And it's only then, when people start to get involved and they recognize what's going on, that we can make a positive change. But at the moment, most people are fast asleep and they're just like, oh, I'm comfortable. Everything's just fine here, Chris. You know, I talked to my mum. She's like, everything's just fine here in Australia, son. You should move back here. Nope. So, go out into the world, do good, and be good. And you can change the world with the way that you think, the way that you talk, the way that you interact with it, and the information that you share. Because everything you're sharing, even those uncomfortable times where people are telling you, no, you're wrong, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not an epidemiologist, Chris. Even in those times, stand your ground. Here's the facts, here's the evidence, here's why I think the way that I do. It's up to you to decide how you think and what you want to do about it. If you want to continue on being told how to live by the people who are the leaders, the elite, then carry on and do that. I don't, and I urge everyone else to make their own decision, come to their own conclusions about what they see and what they feel and what they're interacting with on a daily basis, and make a decision based on that rather than the propaganda that you're hearing from the TV. All right, thank you so much, one and all, for joining me. Really appreciate it. I hope you like what I did today. Just a little bit of a rambling talk about things that I see in the world and the way that the state of the world and how things are going. Because we're coming to an inflection point where people aren't going to have a choice anymore. So by sharing information, hopefully we can create that for them. Thank you, one and all. Again, look after yourself, look after each other, and I'll sure look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care of yourself. Ciao for now. Bye.